Okay, guys, the last question. We're going to go with social media. Is social media or physical hand-to-hand shaking networking the best route taken right now? Let's start with Steve.
I mean, I think that for sure social media is the way to go today. I think there was a time where getting out networking was the best way to connect, create relationships, and get business. But these days, you could reach so many more people. The connections are not as real. They're not as high quality, but you can reach so many more people being intentional with social media. So I think 100% you could do more deals by being active on social media, sharing your story, telling people what you're doing, and then also not forgetting to ask them, right, if there's a way to work together, if you have any deals. So I think social media for sure is the way to reach as many people as possible to get additional business. Additional business.
Okay, RJ Bates.
Social media is the way to open the door, but networking is where you close the deal. I mean, I have life-changing opportunities that came to me because of me putting myself out there via social media, and it allowed me to be in the same room with people that then changed my life. And so for that, there nothing can ever replace that human to human interaction, getting to know each other, breaking bread, like networking is. And so, yeah, I mean, I think utilizing social media is extremely important, but it's never going to be able to replace that connection that you get from networking.
Okay. Let's go to Eric Brewer. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say 100% social media. I talk often with our people here and anybody that I get the opportunity to try and encourage. Social media is a great way to be able to create a referral network with absolute strangers. In the past, we would only get referrals from people that knew us directly, liked us, trusted us, or did business with us previously. And social media, if it's done correctly, RJ, recently over the last couple months has had a tremendous following that's developed on TikTok. Steve obviously has a big podcast, which is a form of social media because of the way they broadcast it. But social media, just like RJ said, is a way to create relationships with absolute strangers. But then the way that the deal really gets done is it converts to a phone call, a Zoom call, or an in-person meeting. I also have had opportunities I never would have had that came from social media from people that I had zero relationship. I heard the buzzer the first time, Weasel. Right?
Okay. I'm just not sure if you were able to hear it or not. So thank you.
Got it.
Weasel.
Yes.
Before you tell CJ to go, he hasn't said a word and he has 33% of the vote. Just throwing that out there.
I'm saying VoteGate might have to be a real thing because I'm just noticing the trend. Chris Jefferson, a lot of pressure on you to answer this question because it is 2-1. So if you let this one slide to Steve, it's going to be a real interesting tiebreaker. So your thoughts?
No, it's all right. Yeah, it's okay. I'll be right. So look, I disagree. All right. I don't think it's social media. I think we've created this perception that social media is easy. I mean, look, for RJ to build his following, he had to do 90 days straight on YouTube in order to build that following. I highly, highly disagree with that train of thought, even though I have a social media presence. If you want to build business, if you want to raise capital, if you want to find out about the newest trends, you want to find out what's working in the industry right now, you have to get off your ass. You have to go spend money and you have to go to masterminds. All right. When you go to masterminds, you're able to get into a room and have conversations with A-level players that generally, just quite frankly, they wouldn't even respond to your DM on social media. When you're in a room with them and you've paid to get into the room, there's a immediate respect level that's given because we've both paid to get into the room. Go network, get to masterminds, and build relationships.
Okay. Thoughts from anyone?
CJ, how do you network appropriately if you can't listen? I mean, I clearly said networking, and you're saying you disagree. And then
No. But you started
what I said.
Yeah, but you started off by saying social media first. And RJ, I gotta say, I don't believe you about the networking piece because you, quite frankly, man, you're not that friendly in networking events. I remember when I was just a nobody. I said, "Hey, RJ Bates the third. I've heard about
Close the voting. Close the voting. Close it.
Voting is still open. It's still open right now. We have a rebuttal period that we keep the voting open for.
I see a lot of value in what CJ and RJ is saying, right? I mean, I think the networking is important, but I think for a lot of the people, getting started in social media is the most impactful activity you can do when you start. You know, the networking, the masterminds and things, these are all incredibly valuable things. I mean, I wouldn't know Eric if I wasn't in a mastermind, but I also wouldn't know RJ or CJ if we're not for social media, right? So I think there's a right place for networking. I think it just comes after social media. You have an influence when you walk into the networking because of your social media. They're not going to talk to you in some of these places if they don't have any idea who you are when you walk in the door.
Where do people drive traffic to their networking event? Where does all the traffic or the people find out about where the local networking event is? On social media, right? It starts there. I think everybody agrees that the goal is to have a meaningful relationship or conversation is better in person, but it expands our network and the amount of people that we can be introduced to by using social media. And then we can filter it down to the people that we want to have a conversation with in person.
Yes.
Did we have a pity vote? Are we getting pity votes for RJ?
So it looks like, yeah, RJ Bates came through. Last second clutch win, 43% of the votes for RJ on that one. So he's got a point. Eric Brewer is scoreless. I'm not sure what's going on with that. We'll check that out after the show and figure out what's going on.
Somebody did tell me, though, real quickly, that they saw RJ Bates. Cassie posted him on Next Door Neighbor asking for votes to get on YouTube and post on this link. So shout out to RJ Bates for finally winning a round. All right.
All right.
You went on Next Door to get votes?
Yeah.
Well, you said use social media, so
He did.